to drive through. I think I'm gonna go with busted on this one.
All right, let's wreck this thing.
Okay, this is Hollywood gate crashing test. In 3, 2, 1, go!
20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, 40, 50 miles, 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour!
We were looking to see if this was gonna look like Hollywood, and it looked like Hollywood. The gate just bust right open. I was wrong. I'm totally excited about that.
Yes, it was the perfect example of a Hollywood gate crash. It flew open, and the car appeared to breeze through unharmed. Or did it?
Let me tell you, if I was an action hero, having the airbags go off and the horn keep going would be pretty annoying. It would be very distracting while you were driving.
Distracting, impractical, and dangerous, but as Grant proves, it's still drivable.
Doesn't handle as well as it used to, huh?
Not the smoothest ride, but still works.
So, where does that leave us?
Well, runs.
Yeah, I don't want to call it confirmed because the airbag deployed.
Well, what if we call it plausible because a lot of older cars don't have airbags?
Good point.
Well, it looked like Hollywood, and you could still drive the car. This one's plausible.
Plausible.
Plausible. Next on Mythbusters, find out why we can't get car insurance.
Before the Hollywood car crashes continue, the car carnage is now taken to great heights.
All right, you guys, what's next?
This one is going to be big. We are dropping a car from 4,000 feet.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So what's the myth?
Well, it's from a car commercial, but basically, there's a helicopter suspending a car at 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet below, there's a giant X.
Oh yeah, I've seen this one. And there's a second car that's on the ground that's also 4,000 feet away from the X. And it's going at top speed, and they give a signal to the helicopter to release the other car, and then it's a race to see who gets the X first.
So what happens?
Well, the car racing on the ground reaches the X a split second before the falling car.
Wow, that's going to be spectacular. And there's a lot of questions to be answered to find out what exactly is going to happen.
Proving that sexy science sells, this slick commercial uses gravity and terminal velocity to showcase a luxury product. Traveling at its top speed of 142 miles per hour, the car in question competes with a second falling vehicle in a 4,000-foot race. The result? Well, the commercial claims the car kicks gravity's butt. But is this ad fact or fiction?
All right, so will the car driving at top speed, 142 miles an hour, over 4,000 feet, beat the car falling from the helicopter 4,000 feet above the X? Which car is going to beat which?
Well, I think that depends on a number of factors. For example, will the car fall flat like it does in the commercial?
Yeah, that's important because drag and surface area is going to determine how fast that car falls.
Exactly, and I want to know exactly what the chances are of a car hitting an X from 4,000 feet.
Well, before we go to full scale, why don't we get a couple cars, drop them from a crane, and see what they do?
You know you're onto something big when your small scale involves dropping cars from a crane.
But before the fender bending begins, let's bend your brains with some background info. An object's top speed, its terminal velocity, is reached when gravity is equaled by drag. And thanks to a previous parable about parachuting, the team know that how an object falls is a crucial component in shaping its terminal velocity. Which means the way the car falls through the air will dictate the course of this myth.
So we are back at the Tykert Aggregates Vernalis plant, which is the very same location where we almost flew our bamboo ultralight from the MacGyver special.
That was sick! It almost had flight! That's our crane?
No way!
Bigger than I thought.
So this myth is going to require us to drop a car from 4,000 feet in the air. Now before we do that, we just want to get an idea of what we're getting ourselves into. So Hatton Crane has lent us the largest mobile hydraulic crane in all of California. It can extend over 400 feet in the air. We're going to drop a few cars and see how they fall.
With the same rig as the commercial, they'll be lifting each of their test cars and dropping them.
That is one big crane.
I know.
And in case you're wondering why the guys are focusing on the fall, here's Grant.
Now, how the car falls in air is really critical to this myth. If it falls flat like it does in the commercial, there's more drag, which means it takes longer for the car to get to the X. Okay, we're live. If it falls nose first, that means there's less drag and it takes less time to get to the X, and this myth will probably be busted.
Take it up to the position we're going to drop from.
I think that this myth is extremely complicated. I have a hard time believing that a car is going to drop smoothly to the ground horizontally and another car is going to smoothly be able to meet it at one point. I just think that there's so many factors involved. We're going to see a little more like this.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah! Oh my!
Oh, look at that! My God, what a rush! Did you see how it went nose down?
Yeah, it started out flat and then it started to turn.
It's only going to keep going from there.
Oh, wow.
Dang, that was sick. Now, I know this is not about the crash. It's about how the car falls, but that was a spectacular crash.
Yep, and the result couldn't be clearer. Unlike the commercial, this car tipped forward and parked itself nose first in the quarry.
Whoops. Did we get the rental insurance on this?
So after just the first test, the myth is looking like it's been dropped from 400 feet. But the team isn't giving up yet. Not with 2 more cars to destroy.
Should we reset for another one?
Yeah, we get to do it again.
Next.
Okay, go. That's cool. Oh, it's more satisfying than anything we've done in a long time.
Fun times with a 50-mile-an-hour flip.
Don't try anything you've seen on the show at home.
We are what you call experts.
For those of you who are just tuning in, we are replicating the 50-mile-per-hour hard bus turn from the movie Speed. The myth is that unless everybody in that bus moved to the inside of the turn for the turn, the bus would tip over. So, I've already taken a run in the bus at 50 miles an hour and successfully made the turn with the proper amount of weight equaling people on the inside of the turn. Ah, I did it! It worked!
Very, very good.
Then we balanced out the load, and Jamie took a run at 50 miles an hour and also successfully made the turn, thus busting the myth. But of course, we still want to see a bus tip over, and really, honestly, neither of us wanted to be in the bus when it tipped over, so we remote controlled the bus with this rig right here. Ah, this is the most fun toy we've ever built. And I swear it's going to tip, hell or high water. All right. Shall we do a test?
We don't want to start right off the bat doing the whole enchilada, because when this system is fully operational, it's full throttle with the brakes off. And we want to start a little softer than that. So I'm going to be in the bus for this test run, and I'm going to have the brakes and the throttle myself while Adam is getting used to the steering.
Radio's on.
And then we'll incrementally ramp it up until we go for the whole thing. I'm go.
And what do you know? Adam, sitting in the back of the pickup truck,
I got to tell you, this is quite a nice way to drive.
is successfully steering the bus from 100 feet behind it. Well, mostly.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I was overcorrecting there.
Okay, well, let's try and do a full throttle run, because the real proof is in how well you can keep it on a straight line at full speed. Over.
That right there was a phenomenally successful test of the systems.
45.
This really, I think, heralds in an entirely new era of remote vehicle control for Mythbusters. This rig right here, we're not breaking this thing down. We're going to hang it from Jamie's ceiling and label all the parts. Next time we got to RC something, this is how we do it, because this is awesome.
So now that the guys have control of the bus from a safe distance, it's time to ensure it tips.
The whole thing about this myth is it's about the center of gravity. Keanu, in the movie, perceived that a balanced center of gravity wouldn't be enough to keep the bus from tipping, so he moved the center of gravity inward. Now we've got to unbalance the center of gravity enough, with enough weight and enough features, to get that bus to go past its CG in the middle of that turn and tip over.
What are we doing to make this bus tip? Let's have a look. We've shifted all our barrels, which are our surrogate people, to the outside of the turn. We've added 4,000 pounds of steel to the roof to make it top heavy. And finally, with the nail in the coffin, We put a valve on this side of the bus on the air shocks, and we're going to dump the air